What's up, gamers? It's your boy Rodini here, everybody's favorite scrub. Coming at you live today with my first ever YouTube video. Who'da thunk that I would ever get to this place, but here I am, and putting myself out there on the internet because pandemic times are hard and we need a little extra fundage. I have done a mod review today on the Fallout mod Depravity. Depravity is basically a content mod that you see a lot of changes in the actual game storyline. As it doesn't really change a whole lot about the systems of Fallout, the type of person that you want to be in Fallout, the kind of decisions that you can make in Fallout. It just kind of broadens how you get introduced to things, and it overhauls certain things that maybe we wanted in the very beginning. Definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you like what you see today. And without further ado, here's the review of Fallout 4 Depravity. So the mod starts off with your player going through the same tropes as any usual Fallout opening sequence. You can always choose, as I did, to do an alternate start mod on top of Depravity, but that's always a personal preference. If you're like me, you've probably played this game on multiple occasions, so the opening can feel drier than a bowl of cornflakes left in the sun. Now that being said, I had a blast using the mod to make my opening more organic and interesting to the role-playing aspects that I was trying to achieve. I started as a scavenger who woke up at Red Rocket Fueling Station, yes, that Red Rocket Fueling Station, after a frightening pre-war dream, i.e. the character creation. Woke me with a start. From there I had to head to Concord to continue to scavenge, and I come across a little girl. Now, this is different. Never seen a child here in this spot before, and so I go ahead and talk with her, and she has a friend who's trapped in the old dilapidated Fallon's executive offices. I oblige the girl, but though not without my own suspicions. If Bethesda's taught me one thing over the years, it's that not everyone or everything, for that matter, is what they seem. Flash forward to Fallon's, an entirely new interior that I think was made up of assets made up of the vanilla version of the game. This is, for all intents and purposes, a classic Bethesda dungeon, complete with eerie sounds, frightening set pieces, doing the same old classic snooping and looting that you activate an email on one of the terminals. You can go through quite a frightening recreation of the day that the bombs actually fell. This seemed pretty original, as well as kind of interlooped with Ron Perlman's narrations. So it's nice to kind of see that this doubling effect of kind of taking original game content with their own content. The modders definitely hands down some of the best stuff that I've seen as far as a content mod. But basically you do a lot of sleuthiness in that dungeon, and then basically you're compelled to go upstairs. You get a nice little thud. You basically get hit over the head, and then you're basically awaking naked and trapped in a bathroom cell. Lousy with Raider-style traps and just gruesome dead body displays. I mean, it looks like Pikmin's gallery in this basement. So you kind of have to find your way through this dungeon, feel your way through this dungeon, and it really just ends up affecting the entirety of just how you feel about the game thus far. This is, again, the first maybe 5-10 minutes of you coming into the game. Usually these are times where you're just like, oh yeah, I woke up after the war, and now I'm just going to go down and do my little mission with the Minutemen, and that's just not what is happening here at all. It's completely original content. It's just this Slaver's Bay kind of feeling. You're kind of in the bottom of this basement, and there's all these slave girls that are everywhere, and you're basically having to shoot your way through to kind of get out of here. And towards the very end, you hear this really nice conniving voice, basically giving you the okay that you passed the test and that you're super impressive to these people. And so that's basically the opening of your Fallout sequence there. It's very, very compelling. Again, very, very good stuff as far as if you want that original sort of creepy Fallout feel that you've been looking for throughout the entirety of this game if you've played it before. Now, I didn't want to get too involved in the actual mod itself, the content of it. I don't want to necessarily put any type of bias per se in anybody's mind. I don't want to give spoilers. So that being said, I just kind of want to go over kind of the basics of the mod. You do get to meet a lot of different NPC choices from this particular faction. This is a faction of people who essentially have been selling slaves since the beginning of the game, events before the game actually. They have this very big vendetta against the Minutemen, particularly with Preston, because Preston himself did in fact run away from a very significant event that affected these people. In fact, the leader of this faction is a former Minuteman who was at that battle. This is a battle that has a lot of deep lore. I believe it's the Boston Massacre within the in-game lore. Basically, this is not, the original Boston Massacre from 1776, but the secondary Boston Massacre where basically the Minutemen lost their home to the Raiders. That's actually a base in-game that you can go and visit. You can kind of put that story together in vanilla Fallout. Again, just another brilliant idea by these modders to very much incorporate a vanilla story idea into their mod so that they can kind of integrate all of that together so that it kind of complacently puts everything together in the story. So it is a very impressive mod as far as the lore. The building of your character becomes very much more involved. You're very impressed with how it kind of all turns out in that way. And then they just take basically every single early game story mission that you do, whether it be in Good Neighbor or in Diamond City. Diamond City is a very big and large mission-filled city, same with Good Neighbor, and all of those missions are kind of checked off the list, so to speak, as you're going through this mod, up into the point where you can basically, go into these strongholds that are underneath the cities and kind of collect loot from there. So it's definitely a hugely beneficial mod for those who are looking for something that is very much more original, something that's going to be a lot more involved as far as like choice-based storytelling. So it is a very good mod for that in the sense that, again, you're recreating a story-based game and giving yourself more choice. This is something that I've seen online, all over forums, communities, Reddit especially, where they're just very happy with how the gameplay turned out, the shooting aspect of it, the many different types of ways that you can kind of interact with the factions, but just feeling limited by the fact that you're just on this mission to go find your son. It does integrate that into the storyline. You can kind of still use that as your cross to bear towards these NPC players, these factions of people that, again, have basically been pushed away from society because they have to survive somehow. And that's just, again, back into this huge, deep lore aspect of the game that was never really explored hugely. You can kind of explore it, in internet forums. Again, I spend a lot of time on Fallout Reddit pages just trying to kind of immerse myself into this storyline, and then the first time you play the game vanilla, it is a very immersive storyline. Once you've played it about the 5th time, you're like, all right, yeah, Sean, yeah, who cares about Sean, like I want to do all these other crazy things with my character build, choices and choice-based play, and it's very integrated. So I'm very happy with that. I would definitely, 5-star review this mod if it weren't for the fact that you still have to do those repetitive missions. They do originally try to integrate it, but it's a lot of, not a lot of new dungeons to really explore. There are new dungeons, again, all built with those vanilla based assets, but there's not a huge amount of new missions to kind of accomplish. There's maybe 1 or 2 within that first opening. I've only played through a certain section of it to really do this review, but I mean, if it is any indicator of how later game missions will play out and just the different choices that you can make with those later game missions, it seems like it is just kind of like a good soft opening mod, I guess you could say, for Fallout. Alright guys, so wrapping it up today, basically this is a mod that is available on PC. After doing a little bit of light research, it does look like it is available on the mod extension on consoles as well, although I don't know exactly how well it's going to translate. I know on PC it's pretty seamless, and then with every other console mod that I have seen kind of transfer over, there's always hiccups and bumps in the road, so definitely just stay on those Reddit pages, stay on those forums, see what those modders can do for you guys if you are a console player. If you're a PC player, have at it, have fun. It's a great game, a great addition to the game, I should say. And definitely, again, if you liked what you saw here today, this was my first video, humbly so. So please, again, give it a like, give it a subscribe, give it a share if you're so compelled to, and I will definitely be making more content here in the future. This is Rodini.